Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's read. This is on YouTube channel James 13 Wicca. I'm going to put the dice and the card information below that I'm going to be using for this set. That way you can easily find it. Also, if you're anywhere near Herkimer, New York, I'm offering some live readings if you're interested. That should be below too. I should have added that by now. There's info below on how to get a reading from me on here, and I'll get the email up here too. So if you'd like an email from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. That being said, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Cancer? There's a lot of energy, it's coming in really strong. Somebody's done what they've done before. Somebody's done what they've done before. What is going on here? Somebody's done what they've done before. Why do I want to say it that way, though? So, how does this... I think this is going to end up in a good place for you. But the current energy, if this is hitting, this is going to be one of those where either it's already happened or there's something going on here where you're not happy with what's going on. And they've done it before. Somebody has done this before. You've tried to make sense of it. I get that you've tried to make sense of it, and you're trying to look out for other people. You're trying to look and see how this should go. And I just feel like I don't like how this is going. I don't like how this is playing out. But I don't think it has a lot where you can do anything about it. I think there's a lot you want to do, but other people are making choices, and they've done what they've done again. They've done it before, and they've just done it again. This moment is going to pass a lot quicker than it seems. Okay. This seems to be putting you in a position of power, but you're not going to see it at first. At first, I feel like I'm just kind of like, this is just screwed. I feel like that's my first thought, this is just screwed. It's not. You're not going to see it at first. Be okay. Try to be okay with yourself realizing you're not going to find the answer in 5 seconds. It's going to take a couple weeks probably, whatever the situation is, before it actually starts showing up. But something is coming forward. Information is coming your way to make this better for you. Okay, so if this happens, I like to say, I need to say this sometimes, this is either happening or it's not. This reading isn't making it happen. It's either there or it's not. Because I feel like I have to look at this situation a little differently, and somebody's bringing that in. And I feel like when it does come in, there's a chance for things to be done differently. Granted, Cancer's known for not really caring for changes very much, but Cancer's also the same person, kind of like, if this isn't working, and this can go better for me and my family or my loved ones or whoever, all right, then let's do it. It doesn't matter if it's uncomfortable. If it's going to improve things for me or my family or my loved ones, however that works out, then we're going to do it. Cancer will be there for that. Kind of like, no, we need to this has to go better. This needs to improve. Doesn't matter if I like it or not. We're going to do it because I would like this to be better. And it's coming in. And there's some information coming your way that I feel like somebody might be sharing with you information. And at first, I feel like I have this oh, that's a private thing. I don't want to talk about this with you. That might be your knee-jerk reaction, which makes sense, but they're saying you don't have to tell them everything, but give some information out. Try to give some of that, try to put into the flow a little bit, because if you put more information out, you get more information back, and you may find a way to fix something that you didn't think was fixable, or you didn't realize there was a different way to do it. Got to kind of give to the energy a little bit. It is a little uncomfortable. It's definitely a little uncomfortable. It's kind of like, well, you don't have to give everything all at once, but it's kind of like we have to kind of give a little bit of something. It's kind of like it kind of reminds me of having a kitchen, and it's kind of like I have this for that person and this for that person, and I have all these things set aside for all these different people I care about. And it's kind of like, oh, somebody's here. Oh, do I have anything extra? Do I? And it's kind of like, you know what, I can move this around. I can use this because I can replace that before that person needs it. I can use this before that. I don't know if this analogy is going to make sense, but it's kind of like I can give a little bit within reason. There is something like you can put a little bit of information out there and still be fairly comfortable. They're like, if you want that improvement to come your way, you got to put some of that information out there. Doesn't mean you have to tell everybody everything. I'm not saying that, but like you got to put some of it out. It's almost like, oh, I'm going to have to use an uncomfortable one because I feel like it would make best sense. Maybe you have a relative that's in an abusive relationship. You don't have to say what it is, but you could say like, yeah, somebody I very much care about struggles with a person they're in a relationship with. You can say the word struggles. You don't have to say, oh, they get physically this or they get verbally that. You don't have to go down to the whole, you don't have to give their explanation. You have to give the details, but just kind of saying, you don't even have to say who it is. Just like somebody in my family goes through those type of struggles. Get your energy in there, like churn it up a little bit so open that door. By making this other person more comfortable, they're going to give you information and hopefully you get more comfortable with them, and you might end up finding a support system with a lot of good ideas and a lot of good possibilities here that you normally, or have at least at this point, been able to access. By the way, by putting out that energy and like sharing where you feel necessary, I do feel within reason, you got to kind of like feel it out for what's right for you. Up to a point, the more you give, the more you're going to find the support and other people kind of like standing with you and helping you get through things, people you can trust. Does that say miracles? Yeah. So I feel like when I get that miracle card for this situation, it's just not something I even thought was even a possibility. I never even knew that even existed. It's like not knowing the color purple exists, and then somebody saying, oh, look at this. And you're like, what is that? This is purple. Oh, how awesome is that? Never knew it existed. I know that sounds odd. It may have been around you the whole time, but you didn't realize that was a color for you. Is that a weird analogy? Probably. All right. As it comes forward, whatever this is, more and more information is going to keep coming your way. And there's going to be this thing where I feel like I'm being supportive, I'm being helpful, but I don't feel like I'm giving other people's details. Does that make sense? Like I'm not telling somebody else's story. I don't know. I can't share certain things. Somebody's telling me stuff, somebody's giving me information, somebody's giving me resources and telling me how to this and how to that. And I feel like I can't share somebody else's story. I keep getting something like that. So I'm helpful, I'm giving, I'm doing what I can, I'm doing things in other ways, but I can't give details. There may be a point here where it's kind of like, well, I'm helping here, but I don't really see what that does for anything. I'm helping, but I'm not really making my situation better. I'm helping somebody else's situation, but I'm not improving my situation. I may feel that way with the Seven of Swords, which is kind of like, I feel like I'm skipping out on my responsibilities by doing this. That's not what's happening, but it may easily feel that way. Another way to look at it is to kind of like, you're learning something here that you may not realize you might need later. Keep that in mind. You're getting used to something, you're connecting with something, you may end up with a connection or get to know somebody that you didn't realize could help you later, or you may be literally learning how to do something that you're like, I don't understand how this is going to help my life. It's like somebody learning accounting and they're like, I don't think I'm ever going to go into accounting, but then they get a job in management and some of the responsibilities that they need to check on to make sure other things are working out have to do with accounting. And they're like, well, since I took those courses, I actually know how this is supposed to work. I didn't think it made any difference at the time. I thought it was just a filler class, but now I'm actually using it. I'm actually able to use that information I just never thought I would. Stuff like that. The energy's going better because whatever's coming in here, if you're opening this door and you're walking through it and all the other good stuff, it does seem to give a quite a notable jump up from the situation. It's kind of like, I don't feel like I'm subject to what somebody else is doing. I feel like I'm more empowered to kind of like step in the way or change the landscape so that they don't have the ability to do this again. At least not to affect your life the same way they have in the past. I feel like I have options that I didn't realize I had. I never knew that was actually a thing. You also got the Queen of Cups coming in. You got the King here, the Queen's coming in. You may be surprised at what comes forward for you. It may be one of those things where I almost feel guilty because of how ahead of this curve I am. Like, guilty? Like, wait a minute. Why guilty? I don't think you need to, but I kind of feel that energy coming in. You're taking the Wheel of Fortune out of the picture. And it may not go well for other people, but you're taking the randomness out of this. By what you learn, you might take that random energy out of the situation where things just happen when they happen. You might actually ground something and stabilize something, and not everybody's going to like that, but maybe that's not a bad thing. Like, if they don't like that, maybe it's because they can't create a mess. It reminds me of like a 5-year-old child when they have the run of the house and they just destroy it. But then you kind of like, all right, first of all, it's not safe for you, and it's not good for this house, and it's not good for my mental health. So we're going to confine the child to a certain area, a play area, and we're going to make sure that there's the corners are all padded up and stuff so they can't get in too much trouble. And I'm going to make sure that I can literally sit at my desk, say you're doing something, I can sit at my desk and see everything they're doing. I just have to look up and I can see exactly what they're doing. So if they're playing or whatever they're doing, I can just look right up, boom, that's what they're doing, we're all cool. It's kind of like I'm taking away that energy, I'm bringing it down, I'm grounding it so it's not complete madness, and I'm restricting. So I feel like you're going to end up restricting somebody, not intentionally, but you're going to take away somebody's ability to cause mayhem. And it's kind of like not feeling bad about that, because it's kind of like reminds me of that 5-year-old kid. If they're used to running up and down stairs and going here and going there and just taking what they want, and going into the kitchen and just getting what they want, and now you restrict them to one area, it may have a lot of things that they can play with and be happy with, but they're so used to that unbridled freedom. Is it unbridled? I don't know if that's the right word. Whatever word, where there's no control. They can just do what they want. Then mayhem, you take that away from them, even though it's in their best interest, even though it's not really that bad and they still have a lot they can do in that one area, they're going to really buck against that. They're not going to like that they can't just do it whenever they want, however they want. It's going to be like one of those things where there's pushback, but it's actually kind of like it's healthier for them and for you. It's a much better thing. And it keeps going forward. I get like it's going to be a process. It's going to take some time, and there might be some more refining of this situation. It's kind of like whatever this was, like this play area, maybe the play area turns out to be a little bit too big. And it's kind of like, all right, let me redo this again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my desk over here, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and I'm only going to allow them certain things while I'm doing this, or while I can, like, depending on how much attention I can give them, where I can just look up and be like, oh, no, I don't want them to be able to access that, or, oh, yeah, they can access those things. It may take a bit of refining, too, and you can get more in there. You might actually have other people kind of asking you how you're so good at what you're doing, and I feel like that might make you uncomfortable, because you might feel like, well, I am really not that rehearsed in this. I'm not like a master at this. I'm just doing what I've been taught, and I'm refining it the best I can. Other people may be asking you how you're doing it, and you may have a lot to share. Just be willing to do so. It would be helpful for you, because the more you give, the more you get back on that one, too. Through all this effort, I do get the Sun card showing up, so it can get really, really good. Rainbow blessings and navigating by the stars. So I'm more of an intuitive reader. I'm getting, by going this direction, if you're willing to and you're able to take this path, if that works for you, this is kind of like, I don't know how this is going to sound, but maybe one of like your purposes in this life, to not only refine and overcome things you didn't think you could, or didn't think you could be connected to this level to where things could go better, but also to share that and help other people feel that empowerment that you've gotten from it yourself. This might be one of those moments. This is one of the purposes of why you're here. Because I get, once you go over through the next level, I keep seeing this older lady. But it's very interesting to me because it's kind of like it's like this older lady who's gone through the mill. She had a rough marriage. She had difficulty raising her kids, but she got them all through. She got them, they're all safe and they're okay now. She had a lot of hard lessons. She learned the hard way on a lot of things, but right now she's very strong and very well put together to the point where people don't have any idea. They're like, your life must have always been perfect. And it's like, no, but when life threw me down a couple stairs, I made sure I didn't fall down those stairs again, and now I'm just trying to help other people not have to deal with those stairs the way I did. That might be that energy. You might kind of give off that energy after a while. And it's weird because I feel like some people, I've had readings with people like that where they've had those rough lives and they help other people. And when they're helping other people, they just think, well, you've always had it easy. And they're like, no, I haven't. I just learned the hard way. And after getting thrown down those stairs a few too many times, I decided, well, we're not going to do the stairs anymore. Not doing those stairs anymore. And they learned the hard way. And like a lot of us do. I feel like maybe that's my generation. I don't know. I think we all still do that. A lot of us learn the hard way. And once we get to a certain point, we're like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. And when we can transfer that onto others and help them learn from what we did, they just don't seem to understand like what it took to get there. But it's just one of those things I feel like you might have to get used to. But you may be that energy, you may be that saving grace for other people down the road, and I feel like you're not planning to, but you might end up in that role. Are we good? All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.